Well, I'm extremely sorry for the inconvenience, guys, because it's a power shutdown over here. Because of that, my Wi-Fi network connection was disabled. So sorry for that inconvenience. So let's go ahead and check that API endpoint. Okay, so we haven't checked this API. I'm not sure whether this API is working fine or not, because so that's the reason we are not getting the data over here. I think so. So let's go ahead and make sure whether this API is working fine. So what we have to do is we have to go there and we have to check that API. So let's go to the authentication, and here I'm going to create a new request. So let me duplicate it, and this is going to be get all users. So anything which is coming through, where is that? Here, users, and get users. So if you hit the send option, so here we go. So we are getting the data, but why that function is not working over here? So why it's not returning anything? So we are getting the data. Look at that. If you open the Postman, we are getting the information what we are looking for. That means our API is working fine, but it's not returning anything. So axios dot get base URL. Oops, my bad. So it's not supposed to be slash, because we already added the slash over here. That's the reason it's returning the object as null every single time. The mistake is this small slash over here. So remove this and save the changes, and let's go back here, and you can see, let's refresh it. You can see that we are getting an object over here. We are getting an object over here. So everything is working fine. So let's simply return the response and let's see what we are getting. Let me close the console and refresh it. So we are getting the user data object, an object. I'm not sure why it's not, why it's returning an object, an object. Okay, we are getting the users and we are getting the data and everything. So let me return the response.data. Okay, we are returning the response.data, and let's go back to the dashboard home. This is the place where we are getting that information. So inside this data.data, let's see what we are getting. Oh, come on. Or simply data.data. Here we go. So now we are getting all the informations. So we tried to wrap it inside the string. That's why it's printing as an object. So now I break it from a string and I'm simply printing as a data. So this is nothing but a temporary name. We are returning the whole object. If you have a look at here, every single object is having success and the data. We're having the array inside it. So that's the reason we are having two different objects inside. We're having the success and as well as the data object. So that's the reason we are getting this information over here. I don't want that success, so that's the reason I'm just printing as data dot data. So if I simply console log it, you can see that it's also print that success object also. See here, you can see that it's also printing success is going to true, and the data is having two array of objects, and if you open the data, you have the two different objects. We don't need this success, I need only this data. So that's the reason we are using this. Anyway, we are not going to console log it, so let's remove it. So what you have to do is we have to push this information to the our context provider, right? So to do that, all you have to do, dispatch, we need to use the dispatch method. So let's dispatch that information, open it, and inside this it's going to take two different objects. First one is going to be type. What kind of action type it is. So action type, action type from our reducer. The action type is going to be set all users. I'm going to set all the users. What data you are going to provide for your action type. So let's go here and open your initial state, copy this all user. We are going to update this state only, copy it. So set that all user colon is going to be data dot data. Save the changes. And now let's go ahead and let's go to our components and let's go to our context.state provider, export it. All albums, artists, songs, everything is null except the all users. Now you can see that our context provider is having that users information which is successfully loaded. Just like the same way we have to do it for all albums, all artists, and all the songs. Then we can come and customize our card informations. So what we have to do is we have to, now we're having the all users, and if you go to your server code, albums, we already written a function to get all. You can see that get all, and it's the same way we also have get all method for artist also, and for song also we have that get all API endpoints. Just we have to use those API endpoints to customize all those things. So let's go back to here. Then I'm going to copy this, copy it, and we paste it one more time. Instead of get all users, I'm going to say get all artists. Instead of where is it, app.js, artist, update it as an artist. And where is that, route. It might quite confusing for you guys to follow, so just make sure that you are following properly this URL so that you can copy it from your code. So please keep track this URL. I'm just changing from users to artist, and instead of get users, the URL is going to be get all. Okay, fine. That's the information it's needed. Okay, so the get all, that is going to return the data. Just like the same way, I'm going to copy and paste it, and this is going to be get all albums. Instead of artist, this time is going to be albums. So you don't need to change the get all, the URL, because that is get all only. Then I'm going to copy it one more time. I'm going to paste it, get all songs, and this time it's going to be songs. Copy it and paste it, save the changes. So now let's go get back to a dashboard home, and just like the same way, copy this, open another if condition. This time we are going to check all artists, and this is going to be get all artists, and this is going to be all artists. Okay, then copy it, paste it, and this time it's going to be all albums. Copy it, paste it here, and this is going to be get all albums. And make sure you have to change the action type also, otherwise it will change the context provider information. This is going to be set all artist, and this is going to be set all albums, data. Okay, fine. Then copy, and this is going to be all songs, and here you have to get all songs, albums, artists. Guys, please make sure whenever you're copying and pasting, you have to be 2 times more, you should concentrate more than 2 times, because copy and pasting will always brings an issue only. So are you guys facing an audio issue? Is it right clear now? Can you hear me clearly? So please do check right now. So if it is okay, just send me a message, just ping me in the chat that you can hear me clearly. So please ping me back. Okay. Then instead of all albums, this is going to be all songs, and this is going to be set all songs. So save the changes. Now if it is everything is working fine, we are getting the undefined issue. We are getting the undefined issue. Why we are getting the undefined issue? So let's open the Postman and let's go to the albums, get all albums, save the informations. Okay, so we are not getting the data object, we are getting the album. So what's the issue is, when you are fetching, where it is, oh come on, here, when you are fetching all the albums, you're not getting the data, you're getting the album. Then when you are fetching artist, you are getting artist. So here, when you are fetching the artist, you have to return the artist. Album, we are not returning the data, because please make sure we are returning the artist for artist. So songs, when you are getting the songs, when you are getting get all the songs, the object what I'm returning, there also it's returning the artist only. So we have to change that one, guys, because this is a very big project. So if you're making any mistakes or name changes in a different place, it's very hard for us to follow through. Otherwise we will run into some issues like this only. So please, whenever you find that issue, something like that, so please do change it immediately. Okay, so when I'm getting all the songs, so here I'm returning as artist itself, I'm going to return it as songs. So I'll change the changes, save the changes, and now if I hit send again, it's coming as songs. Copy the songs and I have to update it over here. Save the changes, and now you can see that we are having all the albums, artists and songs and all the users. So now we have now if you refresh it, it will go and check the context provider. If the all users, songs, artists and albums are null, it will triggers that API and it will fetch that information and it stores inside our context provider. Then we can use that information whenever it's needed. That use effect, it will be rendered only once. It's not going to render 2 times or 3 times. It's going to render once, because we are using an empty dependency. When it gets rendered, by the time the component it's get initiated, it will get rendered and it will check for the component provider. If that component provider have that information, it's not going to trigger that API. If it is not having that information, it's going to trigger that API and it's going to fetch that information. Then we are dispatching that information to our context provider itself. So this is what exactly happening inside this use effect. This use effect is going to render only once, when by the time this component is going to initiated freshly. Only at that time only this use effect is going to render, not every single time. Okay, that's good. So now we're having the necessary information. So let's go back to our dashboard card. This is the place where we are setting the icons, names and counts and everything. So we have to initiate the icons, everything, because we are sending an icon over here. So let's bring the necessary icons, whatever the icons we are going to use it for that dashboard call. Okay, so what we are going to say over here, this is the place where we are calling the dashboard icon. dashboard card. So this is going to have an icon property. Inside this icon property, I'm going to send for users. Okay, this is the font awesome icon. I'm going to use the font awesome icon users. I'm going to send it, and that is going to have a class name. Class name is going to be text 3xl, size of that icon, and the color of that icon is going to be text color. Okay, that's the icon property, and the name of the name of the card is going to be, you can send it as users. Then count, we are displaying the count over there, right? So we need to send the count. So count, we having the objects from the all users, we having the state called all users, right? I think that's because Sandeep, I think that's because of my network issue. After the power cut, I'm facing some network issues problem. I'm not getting the full speed of my network speed. So sorry for that inconvenience. It will be rectified in a minute. So no worries. Usually it will happens once after the power cut, my network speed will be reduced, and it will within 5 to 10 minutes the network speed will be increased again. So sorry for the trouble. Please accept my apologies. Okay. Now what we have to do here, we're having the all users. So all users, if the all users information is there, if the data is there, then so let me, if the data is there, then get that length information, get the length of the data. Okay, if all users having, if the all user is not null, then get the length. If the length is greater than 0, then I have to display the length. All users dot length. That means we are checking the all users state. Can you please be more specific which screen I need to share? Which screen? So Sandeep, you have to please be more specific which screen I have to share. So all users, if the all user object dot length, if it is have some object inside, then, and if it is greater than 0, then display that length. Otherwise, simply display the length as 0. So let's see whether it is working fine or not. Let's go back here, and you can see that it's displaying the users, and it's displaying the total number of user object. Only 2, because we're having only 2 users. That's the reason it's displaying as a 2. Okay, so I hope you are asking for this specific screen. I think so, right? So you are asking for this use effect, or you are asking for this API. Which one you are asking for? I'm not sure which one you are asking for. So I hope you are asking for this API. Okay, so then I'm totally sorry for this inconvenience during this live session. So anyway, I will share this code, no issues. And if you have a look at it, it's working totally fine. We are getting the total count of the users. Just like the same way, we have to fetch the remaining information. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it in the next remaining thing. Okay, so over here, instead of users icon this time, I'm going to say Okay, this time this is going to be the songs. So let's change the name songs, and this is going to be artists, and this is going to be albums, and this, for this we are going to use the GI. Where is that? Over here, import from react icon / GI. So in this case we are going to use the icon called GI love song. Yeah, GI love song. So let's import that GI love song. Okay, and for artist we are going to use RI. So in that case, so let me copy this one more time. So you can go open their official website and you can go through different icons, and I'm just going to use my predefined icons which I already used it before. Starfill, and one more icon, GI musical notes. So here this is going to be RI user Starfill, and this is going to be GI musical note. Save the changes, and nothing is happening. Why? Refresh it. It's loading. Am I getting any issues? No, we are not getting any issues. Then why it's taking more than a while? Here we go. So now we are getting all the informations, but it's not displaying the exact count of songs and artists because we haven't updated that information, because it's displaying simply for all the users only. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update it here. So let me break this clearly for you so that you can see it completely. View word wrap, so you can see it everything inside a single screen. So it's checking for all users dot length, that's fine, but here instead of checking all users, this is going to check all songs. Here also all songs. Here this is going to be artist, all artists. Here all artist, and this is going to be all albums, and this is going to be all albums. Save the changes, and now you will get the exact count of that album, songs and everything. Let's refresh. I'm not sure whether it is having that information only. Okay, 2. Okay, let's make sure whether everything is fine. All albums, it's having 2, fine. Artist, it's having 2. Songs, it's having 1. User, it's having 2 objects. That's totally good. So we are getting the total counts and everything. And now all we have to do is just to adjust there the look, how it's supposed to look inside. So let's go here, go to the dashboard card. Now here, so now what we are going to do is, just a moment. So now what we are going to do here is, so we have that information in our hand. So let's go back here, go to the dashboard card. So we are going to update that. So as I said, we need to change that card background in color. Whenever the user changed from one window to another or refreshed it, it should randomly changes the background color. To do that, we have to we have to get some different colors information. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going back to our utils styles.js. So over here, I'm going to export const bg colors is equals an array. It's an array. Inside this array, I'm going to use different color codes. Okay, so you can choose your own color codes. So I'm just going to write it by myself because I don't copy it in this machine. So E9 E2FF, that is one color code. Then hash FAE2FF, that is one color code. Then hash FFE2E6, that is one, and another one hash E2FF E9 E2FF E9, that is one, and another one hash E2F E2F 4FF, and another one hash 4F E2 1 2 3 4 E2. So these are the different color codes. I'm going to use it inside our for our BG color. So let's head back to our dashboard. Over there, what we are going to do, so go back to your dashboard home. So over here, now what we are going to do is just over here, I'm going to use some the inbuilt functions to fetch the to pick randomly an object from the array. So what you have to do is const bg underscore color. This is a local instance which we are creating. So we are having the array called bg colors, which is coming from utils. So make sure that is imported. So I'm going to get an instance randomly, get an index randomly. So convert it to a parse int because it's an array. Inside an array, we can give an index number only. So make sure it's converted as a number. So parse int. I'm going to use the math. From the math, I'm going to get a random function and then multiply it to bg colors dot length. Okay, we are going to fetch a random number and we are going to multiply it with the length, so that it will fetch the randomly, it will fetch any instance, it will randomly throw an any index which is matches our length of our over here, randomly the length of the total length of an array. So that will throws an index. Through that index we will get that big background color, and we are going to apply that background color through the style tag. Style is equals background, not that one, background. Okay, background, it's going to be open the dynamic string, and inside that dynamic string we are going to use the bg color which we are having over here. Save the changes and remove this bg background blue color. We don't need this, we remove it, and now you can see that it's randomly having a different color. If I'm changing it and if I'm going back, now you can see that it's having a different color. See, every time when you switch back and go back to that page, it will display a different color because it's using the length of that background color array which we are having over here. Using that length, it will pick a random number and it will multiplies it with it. Through that, we are passing it as a number and we are fetching that index number from there. By that way, we will get a random colors from our array, and we are forcefully applying as an inbuilt style tag using this division. So this will take this high priority for this. So this will apply that specific style to that particular division. So whenever you are moving from one page to another or refreshing it, it will display a different color. So we successfully finished the home, but still this card is looking awful. It's not looking nice. So what we have to do is we have to add some styles for this few more. That's nothing, a flex box. So make sure it's a flex and flex column, and everything should be in the center and justify in the center. Save the changes, and that I saved it. Here. It's having slight delay. I don't know why. And it's saved. And you can see that this is how it looks, the home screen. The home screen will looks perfectly. The dashboard home screen will looks perfectly fine. The next information we are going to update, that's the users information. So let's have a break. So take a break and drink some water, because I need to drink some water. Okay then. So now what we are going to do is, so over here in the users, so we have to display all the necessary informations about the users, because admin needs to see the complete necessary information about the users, the user name, user email, and the role of the user, whether the user is admin or a member. If the user is member, if I prefer to make that user as an admin, I should change the user as an admin. If I want to demote from the admin privilege to as a member privilege, I can demote it. And if I want to delete it, I wish to delete it. So these are the privileges we have to give for the admin. So we have to update all these necessary informations. To do that, we need to create a nice UI for it. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So first what we have to do, let's go back here and let me close everything. We don't need anything at all. So let me close everything. And over here, so we created the dashboard users. So let's go here. So inside this dashboard users, so what we are going to do is we are going to first customize that styles and everything. So let's do that. So here, instead of this dashboard users, I'm going to delete it, and class name is going to be, it should use the complete width of the available parent width. It should use it, and the padding 4, and flex, an item should be in the center, and justify in the center, and the flex column wise, it should be in a column wise. Inside this division, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create we need to create a filter. So later we will create the filters. So this is the place for the filter section, and here this is the like you can see tabular data form. You can say tabular data form. Oops. Tabular data form. So this is the place, this is the division, which is going to display that data over there. So then division, open it. Inside this division, what we are going to do, we are going to add some class names. So this is going to be relative position. Make it as a relative position, a relative. Then the width full, it's going to be width full. Then top and bottom padding, we should add some padding, and I'm fixing the minimum height because we need to fix some minimum height, otherwise it looks I need to fix the minimum height so that it will occupy the entire screen even if there is no users. Okay, so minimum height is going to be 400 pixels, and I'm going to stop the overflow X. Okay, only on the overflow X it should be scroll. Okay, then the scroll bar, I think we haven't added that scroll bar. So when it comes to work with your scroll bar in using the Tailwind CSS, so you have to insert one more plugin. You have to insert one more plugin, which is, let's say, scroll bar for Tailwind. So this is that one. Go here, we have to add this package. So we have to add this line neon add Tailwind scroll bar, and you have to add this specific line in our Tailwind configuration. So let's go ahead and open our Visual Studio Code. Open it. So let me open a new terminal and let me navigate to client folder. Make sure that you are inside the client folder, then neon add what is that? Tailwind scroll bar. Copy it, paste it, enter. Okay, so that will make sure that will add that Tailwind information. Okay, so that is adding that scroll bar. Then if I need to add this record inside the record folder, inside that plugins, I need to add this line, copy it, and let's open my Tailwind configuration. Where is the Tailwind config? Over here, and to the scroll to the end of the line, you can see I commented this line because that's the reason, because we haven't added this line. So let me enable it. So save the changes. So now we have that package, so it will doesn't show any issues. So I will show you by the time when you are supposed to add that information. Okay, so now it's totally fine. Okay, so then what we are going to do now, what we have to do is just like the same way, margin top and bottom, it's going to be 4 space. Okay, because these are simple adjustments, so you can adjust it later also according to your convenient. And flex, and it's going to be flex column only, and item center, and it's going to be, everything should be aligned to the starting position of the parent container. And inside that, the padding is going to be 4 pixel 4, or that means 16 pixels in all the sides. And border, we need to add some border effect. Then border color is going to be gray, 300. Then it should be rounded MD, and the gap inside everything should be 3. So I'm just going to save the changes. So let me use the word wrap so that you can see it completely, so that you can see all the styles whatever I returned. Okay, now you can see that we're having this box over here. Just for the simple box, we return this entire styles. Okay, so now we're having that box. Okay, so let me do the console. So let me keep it in this side, because we need to check time to time, we need to check whether there is any issues or not. Okay, so now this box is ready. Now inside this division box, okay, I'm here, we need to give the total count of the user, and that is going to be absolute position. So that we will fix it right now itself. So division, and that is going to be absolute position. Okay, at the top left, I need to display the total count. So top 4 from the top, and left 4. Okay, I'm going to keep a paragraph, class name, and that is going to be text Excel size, text Excel, and font bold. And inside this paragraph tag, I'm going to keep a span tag also, that is going to be count. And then I'm going to open a span tag, because the total count, the number should be displayed in a different style. That's the reason I'm using the span tag inside the paragraph tag. And class name, and then text should be small, and then font, my bad, this should be semi bold, and this should be bold, because the text size of the count should be small, the text number color should be different. So text color, and inside this span tag, I need to display the total length of that users, what is the length of that users. Okay, so we need to display the length of the user. To do that, open it, and here all users, so we have to get the all users from our where is that, dashboard, home. We have to use this custom hook over there. So copy this, copy, and paste it here. I don't need all songs, because this is for users only. So just we need the users alone. So save the changes and import this, import it, and here you have to use the all users dot length. So please make sure that you're using this question mark, because by the time if the users is null, if you don't have any users, then it will shows an error. That's the reason we are to avoid that. We are only if that data print the length, otherwise don't. So now if you go here, now you can see that it's displaying that information, and I think so the size I'm using is also wrong. So this it should be SM, and this it should be XM. So now you can see that the count, and you can see that the size is 2 because we're having two different users. So that's the reason it's showing like that. Now what we have to do is we have to bring that user information. So one by one user information along with their name and the image, everything we have to display it over here. So let's go ahead and design that necessary information. So what you have to do is, so we finished this division. So this is completed. So let's press an enter. So this is for table data. Guys, this is going to be a very big division. So please use the comment lines wherever it's necessary so that it helps you to follow through your code, which is really necessary, because after a few days, if you're opening back your code, even we can't follow through it. So it's highly important to give a comment line wherever it's necessary. Okay, and now over here I'm going to create one parent division, and this parent division is going to use a full width, and minimum width I'm fixing it because it's going to display a long information, so we are not supposed to shrink it completely. So I'm going to fix the minimum width. Even if it is overflowing, it's fine. User can scroll through it and he can see that information. So that's the reason I'm making it minimum width as 750 pixels. That is for what is that? Minimum tablet screen size. So I'm fixing it 750 pixels, and flex item center, and justify between. It should use the space between them perfectly. Justify between. Okay, then I'm going to use the paragraph tag. It's going to use the class name, and text SM. The text size, the heading size should be SM, and then text color. After that, font semi bold. After that, width, I'm fixing the paragraph width as a 275 pixels. The maximum length of the paragraph should take only the normal width size is going to be 275 pixels, and the minimum width, it should not shrink less than 160 pixels. So these 160 and 275 pixels are just trial and error. So please do take your time and adjust it according to your convenience. So you can understand why I'm fixing the sizes and everything. So take your time and just adjust it according to your wish. And now you can see that it's displaying the image over here. Just like the same way, I'm going to display the image. This is for image. Copy it. And another one, what I'm going to, that is the name and email, and whether the email is verified or not, and when the user is created, and what is the role of that user. Okay, so image, name, email, verified, and created, when the user is created, and the role of that user. So save the changes. So that will display the information like this. So image, name, email, verified, created, role, and everything. So just like the same way, we have to display the image, name, and every single information about that user. So let's go ahead and create that information. Okay. So what we are going to do is, right after this division, we are going to display that informations. To do that, instead of this is that division is getting ended. Okay, over here, this is the division is getting ended. Right after here, you can say this is table heading, and you can say this is as a table body content. Okay, so I'm not using the table I don't know why still my screen is getting stuck. my internet speed, everything is good, but my screen is freezed. Even I noticed in my tab that my screen is freezed. The it's not sharing properly. I'm not sure why. I think it's because my lap is getting overheated. Maybe it's because of that. Why it's happening? So it's still streaming only. I don't know why it's happening. I'm totally sorry for that inconvenience. I'm sorry for that. Is that issue solved or still it's having the same issue? So let me check my network speed. I think I do have a strong internet speed, internet only. My bad, I'm not receiving a strong internet. So that's the reason it's having this issue. Usually I used to receive until 90 to 80 MB per second. So it's receiving only 60 MB, and the upload speed is also very low. So that's the reason I think so. I'm sorry for that because my network speed is getting lag. So because of that only, I think so my screen is freezed. Wait a second. I'm extremely sorry, guys. No issues. I'm recording this session also, maybe because of recording and also the streaming. So that's the reason it's getting stuck. I think so. So anyway, it's getting recorded so that you can watch through it later. So no problem. So please, I'll totally sorry for this inconvenience. So I'll fix this issue. No problem. So where we are, so we are right now at the table content. Okay, so here now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an internal component which is going to display that user card separate